Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claude Diamond, and I have the pleasure of working with Hayden and Nicole Hislop, and this is the cutest, most dynamic real estate couple I work with, and I just wanted to share a few minutes of thoughts with them about what they do and how they're doing it so you could learn, and they're just so dynamic, and they go out every week, and they're looking for deals, but let me just hand this over to you. Hayden or Nicole, you told me a great little story a minute ago about a deal you did, a property you got from the bank. I think you called it a real estate owned from the bank, and you did it through the realtor, and you made all kinds of money. Could you just take a couple minutes and just tell people what you did and how you did it to kind of motivate other people in this business?
Sure, Claude. Thanks for asking, and thanks for having us on. One of the things that we did, number one, was to find a good broker that brokers REO deals. And, so those are the players that control all of the bank assets.
How did you find your broker? How did you find your broker in particular?
Because of you. Talk to 5 people a day.
Okay.
That's one of the things you said. Hey, go out and talk to people. And we just started talking to realtors, and you talk to enough people, then you run into someone. Normally, they would want to test you to see if you're for real. And how long we've been talking to?
About a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so finally,
you're not a secret. You go out, you talk to people, you let them know that you're in the business, what you're looking for, and you embrace my talk to 5 people a day rule.
Right.
And this is how you met this realtor who works directly for the bank.
That's correct.
And that kind of put you on the do you feel like you were on the inside loop, the inside track?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. And where we got to that point is that a lot of times we make offers, and our offers would not be accepted until we got into 2 brokers that deal with the banks, and we start finding out some little inside tricks. Like one would be, what the banks are looking for in the offer. Which offers are viewed more favorably than others, and stuff like that. And so once we start finding out, okay, so then we start changing our offers. And a lot of times these brokers would have what you call these pocket listings. They would not list it.
Tell us what a pocket listing is for people who don't know what that is.
A pocket listing is a listing that's not really listed. It's hidden. It's a secret.
A word of mouth kind of thing. Okay.
Word of mouth.
Okay.
They don't put it on the MLS. Before they pass it on to all their friends, and so by the time it hits the MLS, it's already done deal, contract signed, and you're too late.
Okay. So that's why it's important to have people on the inside and get you in the loop to discover these deals that may not be in the public domain.
That's correct.
Okay, well, that's great information. That is super stuff here. So tell us about your deal here, because the funny thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to record this, but I got so excited when I heard about this deal. I said, this is gold. So thank you for sharing this deal you did last year.
Right.
Maybe you could tell us about it.
Yes. Just like we said, my wife, who runs the business full time, like you said, 5 people a day, called this broker up and said, hey, what do you have for me today? And simultaneously, another listing broker sent it to our email. Wow. So I'm looking on my email, I see the deal, and at the same time, that another broker calls my wife. So we actually got the same deal almost the same time. Now, I'm on the computer, I looked at it, and I realized it was a super deal. And at the same time, my wife called me and said, hey, this broker called me, check this house out. Same exact house. And so we went out, and I said, Nicole, we need to put an offer on this. So the broker that sent me the email, I told her to make an offer. And then I called Nicole and said, you make an offer directly. Because the guy that she was talking to actually was also the listing broker for the bank.
Correct, yeah.
Wow.
So we put our offer in. And of course, he called back.
Can you tell us Can you mind sharing the numbers, or if you don't have to?
Yeah, the listing was for $51,000. Now you got to remember. Now we live in the Washington metropolitan Virginia area, $51,000 for a house here is like I mean, that's a deal. If
What do
that house
houses
has
go for generally in that area?
uh, 250 and up,
Oh my gosh. So here was a house in a 250 neighborhood that you could purchase directly from the bank for 51.
right now
Okay.
that house needs to be fixed up. I mean, that is not
Okay.
so it has some work to be done to it. But
How
still,
much? About how
51K,
much did you have to put into it?
I would estimate about 40,000.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's still good.
right,
91,000 in a 250 in a 250 neighborhood.
right. Now,
Okay.
when we saw the deal that low, we don't play with it. I don't try to go and try to get it lower or anything like that. I gave the bank exactly what they want, and $51,000. However, it came back and the broker said, "Well, he's playing games now." He's like, "Well, I have like 3 or 4 more offers. What's your best offer?"
Oh,
You know,
I've had that game. I usually walk away when if my wife and I have had the same experience. We had a house we wanted to buy for ourselves years ago here in San Diego, and the broker played that game with us, and we said goodbye because I don't play those games. I put in an
right,
offer, accept it or reject it, but don't play that
right,
bidding war game
right.
with me.
Well, the thing
Right.
about it though is that you need to know your numbers. You need to know what is your maximum allowable offer, and so we already knew how high we would go. And
Good for
so
you. So you
finally,
knew your marketplace. You knew
yes,
what your budget was. You knew what the cost of repairs were. You had a lot of. You did your due diligence.
yes.
Right.
How important is doing that due diligence, that research, and doing a deal like this?
Very important. If you don't want to go to a hard knock school, do your due diligence. I
Okay.
mean, it's more information is better than none.
Okay.
And so, but
No
anyway,
gambling, right?
no gambling, no gambling.
you know what you're statistically going into a deal, and you know what the odds are of getting the property for the right price, for repairing it, and for remarketing it, and you know roughly what your profit picture is.
Yes,
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
just like in any other business, you need to know what your margins are, just
Okay.
in case something goes wrong.
Okay.
Because in real estate, traditionally, a lot of things go wrong.
Yeah, but
You know,
you can reduce that
yes,
by doing a little bit of legwork and homework and common sense research.
yes.
How did you learn all this stuff?
Man, but by being mentored by the likes of Claude Diamond.
I didn't. I wasn't going there. Thank you. That's very nice. That wasn't where. But you've done a lot of things very smart here.
Yeah.
Have you made mistakes in the past to get to this point?
Unfortunately, the
Michelle,
answer is yes to that.
Nicole is laughing a little too hard there.
Yes. Yeah, we have made sometimes not. We have made a lot of mistakes, and so that's why we're here. We don't want to make those mistakes. Lessons learned,
Okay.
and so and I mean, as a side note, I got to tell you last year, real quick, Claude, we had another deal that we did everything right, we thought, and we had an actual buyer in hand for 174.9. Okay, we bought that house for 61,000. This is a totally different deal. And when we went to closing, the bank sent out an appraiser, and appraiser came back
Yeah.
with the appraisal at 145.
45.
We lost $20,000 just like that.
Wow.
And so again,
What a heartbreaker.
learning from that, now instead of just doing our comps on our own up front, we now go and spend the money and do an appraiser and also appraisal and also have a home inspection report
Question.
done on the property.
That's great. What did you make on that deal we were talking about before, the $51,000 deal? Round number, if you don't mind sharing that. Round numbers. What did you net on that deal after you recovered your costs?
Yeah, that would be about $40,000.
40,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you recovered all your costs.
Paid off my hard money lender, holding costs. Which you pay insurance to make sure that it's insured.
Okay.
Your hard money lender, make sure it's insured once he gives you the money.
Okay.
Pay that off. Pay off the points. We buy the money very expensively. Pay his points off. Pay his commission to the realtors. Everything.
Did you take your profit and put it back into the business? Do you feel like you're recycling your profits so they grow and grow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do tend to do a lot more marketing, and also education. It's important.
The right education. Good. I'm a big believer in that too. You also have a secret weapon sitting next to you there.
Oh yes. Yes.
I want to talk. I want to hear from the secret weapon, Nicole. She does a lot of the sales and legwork and due diligence as part of. You're a good team.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nicole, what do you do as part of the team in this business?
Well,
What do you do exactly?
well, most of the time, I'm the one who make the telephone calls to
Oh,
the sellers and to the realtors and to find hard money lenders, and so I'm the one who do most of the calling and speaking with people um, on a daily basis, trying to find deals, trying to do deals, trying to develop relationships, especially with those brokers who can get the REOs because I mean, rehab is something that we like doing.
hmm.
So to build a relationship with those real estate agents who can really help you and push properties your way.
Isn't it
So I
scary? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
so but that was it. I do most of the phone calls and speak to people for that purpose.
That's great. That's great. So, isn't it scary talking to stranger? My mom used to say, "Don't talk to strangers," and my mentor Max used to say, "You better talk to everybody if you want to be in this business." And you don't seem to be intimidated by talking to people you've never met before. How do you do that?
Well, it's becoming a little better, Claude, since, with you teaching me about the guts and all that good stuff. So it's becoming a little more comfortable,
Okay.
especially in the sense where, like I said, I like doing rehabs. So that is something easy for me to talk about and say what it is I want from them, what I'm looking for. That conversation is easy to speak with someone, about because I know what I want.
Okay.
I know what we're looking for
Okay.
in a
So you
rehab.
two are a dynamic. You're like my wife and me. We've always been a good team. She has strengths in areas that I'm. I'm the sales guy, no secret. But she's the one who does all the organization and bills and all the meticulous work that I don't like to do. We're a good team, and you guys seem to be a good team also. You're working with each other's strengths.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's just that is so great. And thank you so much for just taking a few minutes here to share with people. I love success stories, and I like to hear from people who are really out there and really doing it. And it's hard work, but
Yes.
but you seem to be working. The longer you do it, the smarter you get at it, and the better it is for your business and your family, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Claude, I wanted to just interject one thing is that we're talking about rehabs, but now between paydays is a lot longer. One of the things we do is follow you in your lease purchase system, and that those little paydays help us wait for those big paydays.
That's right.
And so that's I don't want your audience to think that that's all we do is just rehabs.
Rehab.
Well, we do a lot of uh,
Options and things.
options, flipping, rent to own flips, lease rental flips.
There's
So
so
that's
many ways to do real estate.
yes,
There are many different ways, and according to how you can do the deal. Some deals you need cash. You can't get
Right.
away from that. Some deals you can control the property with an option or a lease with an option. Some deals you can go to the owner and say, would you carry the mortgage if they have it free and clear, or they're willing to let you utilize their mortgage on a short period,
right,
something like that. There's so many ways to do this. This is a knowledge business.
yes,
And my feeling is you got to have the knowledge.
yes,
You've got to be superb in sales and marketing, which you two are. And you got to have a little bit of guts, a little bravery. You got to go out in the world and say, "Hey, let's do something here. You got a problem? Maybe we have a solution." And you have that good attitude. So my round of applause to you guys.
Thank you.
You're
thank
very
you.
motivating, and that's why I wanted to share this. If anybody ever wants to contact you for maybe some help or consultation or anything, is that anything you're comfortable doing yet, or maybe sometime in the future?
Sure. We are open to being to consulting on deals
Okay,
and also mentoring
okay.
on rehab. Yes,
I
and
love it. And you're in the Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C. area.
right.
Yes.
So
Yes,
anybody in that backyard maybe should contact you?
yes, they can contact us directly. They can if you want a telephone number, I can give you one.
Whatever you'd like to do. Your web
Okay.
page or email or phone number, whatever you want to do.
Okay, email would be hayden.hislop@gmail.com,
Okay.
and our telephone would be 301-213-6955. 7246.
Oh,
We
cool.
answer our own phone as well too, Claude.
Where did you learn that?
I don't know. Where I heard that from.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.